Using a notebook to climb in TFT? Is it preposterous or is it meta? There's a recent Reddit post that explained the benefits of using a notebook in the early stages of TFT. I gave it a try and it significantly boosted my LP. So dust off those old notebooks and let's jump into the strategy on how we can effectively use a notebook. Okay, welcome back to another TFT breakdown, but today's a little bit different. Today we're talking notebooks. So we're going to go over exactly how to use a notebook in TFT, why you should use a notebook in TFT, and the benefits from it, how you can gain LP, and the strategies involved in using the notebook, both physical or you could do it digitally. So if you have a notebook or a notepad on your computer, that works perfectly fine as well. Most of you guys are going to prefer to go that route, but some of you want to stay old school and you can use an actual notebook itself. So we got some gameplay here on the screen as well. We're going to go more interactive in this video. So I'm going to break down exactly how I scouted in this game and use my notebook specifically. So to start, you're going to notice that I use Nidalee and just Nidalee to ensure I get as much interest as possible after this specific round of the PvE. So you'll notice that I sell the rest of my champions, play Nidalee. Nidalee can solo the stage 1-4 PvE round. And by doing so, you guarantee yourself at least one interest extra if it is a standard PvE round where it gives you 3 components and 10 gold of champions in addition to your Nidalee. So if it's a standard PvE round, you just play the Nidalee. It works with Alistar as well. They soloed this stage specifically. It lets you get some interest right away before everybody else, and then gives you the option to either go on a lose streak if you'd like, or use that gold to propel you to a fast 9, so on and so forth. But for the notebook specifically, we're going to go back here and have a look at the different scouting options. So what you're going to want to do with the notebook is you're going to start off by going through each individual player on the right side and see what they've got from the PvE round and then what they're kind of positioning towards. When you're doing this, the augment that you want to take first and foremost is not hard commit, for example. You don't want to go that hard commit route to a specific trait or anything like that, because by doing so, such as that Dynamo Crown, if you take that, you're locking yourself into that specific build. So we're just going to pause it here and we're going to go back and we're going to slowly go through exactly how I scouted, especially in the augment stage. So first and foremost here, I start off with the first guy. We're going to pause it here. They haven't chosen their augment yet. They are starting off with just a basic board. So not a lot of information we're getting from this person here. Then we're going to play it and go to the next person. We skipped that. I don't want to go back too far there. But this person here, starting with a Kog'Maw, level up. Given the current meta, you can use your head to discern that they're probably going to try, unless stuff changes throughout. And this is why scouting in Notebook is important. Originally, though, you're going to assume that they may be going for a fast 9 Boombot Urgot build. You also see the items that they slam. The point of the notebook is to just, at the start, write down when you have a moment what you think they're going, and then you come back at Krugs. So at the end of stage 2, that's when you come back and you rescout everybody. Once you rescout everybody, you should have a clearer line on what each person's going based on the items they slammed, the characters that they're using, and their augments. So you do a preliminary scout here during the augment or right after the augments. You write down the preliminary lines that you're seeing other people playing in your notebook. And then after the next 5 rounds, you revise those lines if need be or confirm them if need be. So, like I mentioned, for this one here, off of the bat, you can assume potentially that they're going to either do the Kog'Maw reroll build, or with level up, they go... So they wouldn't be doing the Kog'Maw reroll build, my mistake with level up. Forget that. But they're going to be going probably level 8, level 9, and doing a build there. So the most probable one, like I mentioned, Boombot Urgot. So you write that in your notebook and you go next. So when you go next here and you have a look, this person, not too much to show for it. They just have standard characters on the board. They could lean Anima if they get an emblem for it, or they can even go Graves if they get a Graves after the emblem and go Golden Fleece. This one doesn't provide you too much information. Skip over the next one a little fast. We're going back to this board. Here's another Kog'Maw. They have some Street Demon on the bench, so you see there that they could go a Street Demon route. And then finally, you have a look at a 2-star Vanguard, a Vi, 2 2-star Morganas, and Hedge Fund. They took Hedge Fund as an augment. So they could go a reroll comp. They could go a Morgana Bastion reroll comp, even though That's not very popular right now, but they do have options. So in my game here, I use that information to go a more standard approach. I believe, expect the unexpectedness, as that is a strong augment currently. Use the gold that I get from it to ensure that I lose streak, I believe here, the entire stage. You don't need to lose streak. You can play your best board. So here you can buy, let's say, for example, a Kog'Maw. You can buy the Silas, Mundo. You can even go Slayer with Shaco because Shaco is strong early. But you can use those champions to go on a win streak if you have a strong enough board. But in this specific video, this specific explanation, I go through and open for it. The reason why I do that is I know I'm going to allow my notebook writing skills to propel me into whatever build or line that's open. So instead of forcing a popular meta build or one of the top builds, I use my augment and I use my notebook and the stuff that I write down after the PvE round to go through exactly what line I should take in the late game. Okay, this is a completely different game here that I'm showing you, but it emphasizes the point of the notebook a lot better. That's why we switched. So you can see here we are on round 2-7, Krugs, the PvE round here. This is where we're going to implement the use of the notebook or your digital notepad, notebook, whatever. This is where you start scouting as you have some downtime during this PvE round to scout each individual board. By scouting each individual board, you're going to know for sure, after you scouted initially as well, the augment that they're using, the champs that they currently have, and then their potential end game board based on your knowledge of the current meta. So this first person that we clicked on, we can essentially confirm that they are going Cipher. There's no way around it. They took their first augment as duplicators, so that tells you all you need to know about it's going to be a reroll comp. And by having the Cipher units there already at 109 stacks on Cipher, you can essentially go in your notebook and write down the LeBlanc, Draven, Galio reroll build. And you know that's taken care of. Check. Moving on to the next scouting option here. We go to the next person over. We see that they're leaning towards Exotech. They have a bit of a combat augment there. I believe that's a combat augment. And they have an Exotech start with a frying pan. That frying pan itself tells me that they have the potential to create an Exotech emblem. Of course, they could create any emblem in the world, but they are, based on their bench, also holding an Exotech player in Jhin, and then Kindred, which is the trait bot for both Jhin and Zeri in the late game. So, all those pieces added together, I can confidently write down in the notebook here at Krugs that this player is going Exotech. So we have Cipher and Exotech checked off on our notebook, and then we proceed to the next. Same thing here. So we go to the next person and we see that they have a slam and augment. So you know they're either going to go either a fast 8 or a fast 9 build. Otherwise that augment is stupid to take. Based on their board, they're starting with Exotech. They have really strong Exotech items in that Pulse Stabilizer. And they have Kraken's Fury already slammed with the hopes of getting a bow by the looks of it for Rageblade. Same thing goes with them on the bench. They have a Kindred and then a Jax. They're using Shyvana as a trade bot right now to get Bastion in there. But they also slam the Protector's Vow. And which champion uses Protector's Vow the most? Sejuani. So you can also say confidently this person will strive for Exotech. And now you write that in your notebook. This is where it gets a little bit complicated because you know two people are going to force Exotech. That's not very uncommon in this current meta that we're in the date the video is posted because Exotech Zeri is still strong. You can also position, if you're one of these two, to Vexotech. So you have to note that as well, and you can write that down in your notebook. You're not limited to your one comp to write down because it is your notebook at the end of the day. So you can write Exotech for both of these with the potential for Vexotech. So if that's yourself there looking at what build to go, you know you don't want to get involved in a three-way contest with these two, in Exotech or Vexotech or whatever the heck they're going to be doing by the end of next stage. So you just cross that out and you don't worry about Exotech at all. Okay, so the next board we take a look at is a Gragas board. So you're seeing here that they have the Chugbug augment itself. So they're going to be going Gragas carry. They're already slamming items on Gragas. So you know it's going to be that bruiser build with Gragas. They're going to want to get a Kabuko. They're going to want a 3-star Fiddle, Mordekaiser, hopefully get a Bruiser emblem, and do that kind of build with Cyberboss in the background as well. So you can confidently write down that they're going to be going that Gragas build, doesn't affect you too much, as this is a very niche build in the current meta. You honestly just need that augment to go that build. Otherwise, that Bruiser Fiddle build pretty much sucks without the Blighting Drool artifact item for Fiddle. So you can write this down as the Gragas Hero Augment / Bruiser, as that's essentially what they're going to be going. Now we move over to the next build. So we can tell that already this is a Cipher build. However, there is an indicator here that shows it may not end up being Cipher in the late game. The reason for that is that Rage Blade. It could mean a couple of things. We'll go over that in a second. But you can confidently write down for this part here in your notebook as Cipher, as they will be playing Cipher for majority of the game. And by doing so, it'll let you essentially pick your line based on that, knowing that they're going Cipher. And if not Cipher, they're going to be going a level 9 build in the future after their cash out. So because it's contested and they're taking hostile takeover, they're going to be wanting to try to win. So that Rage Blade I mentioned, that could be slammed specifically to try to win these early rounds with the Cipher build, or it could be used towards the Boombot Urgot build in the future. So they can be positioning both, where they want to win early, get as much intel as possible, cash out with heavy stacks, and then transition to that fast 9 board with the Draven, or not the Draven, excuse me, the Garen, the Viego, the Urgot, the Zac, and they could go that build. So in your notebook, you can essentially write down Cipher for now, potential to go fast 9 build, and you have that marked down. And that's what, unfortunately, for boards like this, you have to chalk up to, as although the writing down in the notebook is a great strategy, and most boards, most people have their line come that PvE round at 2-7, so Krugs, some can change. And this is one of those situations where you can see a Cipher build change, because they just use that intel to boost their end board and save their gold throughout the match. So right now for this one, like I mentioned, you write down Cipher, potential fast 9 Boombot Urgot build. Now we move on to the next build here. So the next build, our second last build, we noticed that this person is also positioning potentially for that Boombot build. They can go, this one's a little bit tricky here, as there isn't much available for you, as they have a standard augment that doesn't put them in one direction or another. They could be going the Boombot build late game. They could position for Graves, as there's a lot of champions here that they can use Graves with, as they have the Alistar, the Gragas, and then they have the Rost. But they could just be going that fast 9 Boombot build, as they have 40 gold already, and they're going to try to either win streak or propel themselves to that level 8, level 9 as quickly as possible. So you can write those options down in your notebook. That brings us to our final board of scouting here on Krugs. So we have a look here. They have Vanguard and Rapid Fire up front. They have the 2-star Kog'Maw. That's telling me they want to win streak and go to a fast 8 build, not reroll. If they wanted to reroll here, they would have had more gold available. They would have sold those Mundos. But because they have this going, you can tell that they're going to want to go either Marksman in a fast 8 build, or go that Boombot build late game. So those are the two options there. You can write the Boombot Urgot build down. You can write the Marksman build down. This is another board that you're going to want to check back periodically and amend your notebook writings to see if they maybe stick that Kog'Maw reroll build. In the current meta that I'm recording this video, it's not the greatest build. So chances are they're not going to go that build. They're going to want to go that Aphelios Xayah Marksman build. But this is one of those, you chalk it up to the Marksman or Boombot, and you check back in 3 rounds to see what direction they go, what next augment they take as well. Now, with that being said, after we've reviewed all the different boards here, that allows us to choose what we want to go. Using the current meta, you can decide what build is currently good at the moment that's not being played, and how you implement it. So for us, for example, we can discern that nobody's going the Twisted Fate reroll build here. So the Syndicate reroll with MF on the side, we can potentially go that build. There is a Braum gone on this board, but it's only one, which is beneficial to us as it is a reroll comp. So that might be a decision we can make if we have the early Rage Blade for it. Additionally, we can go maybe Anima Squad. We didn't see any Anima Squad goers there. There was one guy with it on the bench. So we use the information we have in our notebook to see which top meta comps are not available and which ones are available based on what people are going and what we've written down in our notebook of potential futures. So those Boombot Urgot builds. And we use that information to make sure we go a significantly strong build that's completely uncontested. Builds in this meta that are B or A tier can essentially turn into S tier when it's uncontested. See, for example, those Exotech individuals. Both of them are going to compete for Exotech units, causing them not to get the most out of the build. By you going that TF build and it's completely uncontested, chances are you're going to turn that build into significant S tier category because you're going to get all your units quickly. It's going to be uncontested, no one's going to be buying them, and you use that to your advantage. In addition to doing that, you can discern that there's two Cipher players. If they both stick to Cipher and want to go that Draven reroll, by going the TF build, there is Draven in your build. You can buy up the Dravens to try to 3-star. Spoiler alert, you won't 3-star the Draven. But by taking those units out of the pool, you are screwing over the Cipher players. By doing that, you essentially increase your chances to top 4. So it's all strategy in that regard on choosing your build. TF's a great one. Anima Squad is another good one. The Kog'Maw reroll, it's not the strongest right now. You could do that. You could do the Gorilla build in Mundo as well. Nobody's playing that. You can pivot to Street Demon as well if you'd like. Maybe go the Cyber Boss Ziggs build. There are a few options that you can tailor your board to that are completely uncontested currently in this specific game. And that's why you essentially use your notebook to fill out and know exactly what your opponents are going. It's essentially scouting, but on a more basic premise. By using the notebook, you're forcing yourself to write down what these other individuals are going in your game. And by doing that, you're increasing your knowledge of the game itself while ensuring you have an open and uncontested line. So even in games where you may not have the highest RNG, highest tempo, highest reroll advantage with your RNG essentially, you can secure a lot easier a top 5, top 4, top 6, top 3 versus a fast 8. If you're contested, chances are you're going fast 8. By making sure you're using your notebook and allowing yourself an uncontested line, you will not go 8th or 7th majority of the time. By using those uncontested lines, you'll at the very least, ensure a bottom 6, depending on the build you go. So for example, if you want to go that Slayer Vayne build and you don't have a Flicker Blade in this lobby, it's completely uncontested. That is not the strongest build currently in this meta, but it is a build that you can make work when it's completely uncontested like it currently is. By going that build, you're guaranteeing yourself at least a bottom 6 or higher. So again, with TFT, you just have to kind of play to the strength of the board you're given. Go that uncontested line to ensure that you're getting at least 6 or above in every single game you play. Because the 7s and the 8s are the ones that hurt you, especially with LP loss and the back-end MMR loss. So by writing these comps down in notebooks and using this to your advantage, you are going to propel yourself into a better TFT player in the long run. You're going to ensure you're going these uncontested lines throughout the entire game. It'll let you pick more open-ended augments to help you in that flexibility aspect. And then you'll find that you will increase your rank a lot easier than if you're to force these meta builds like Boombot, Urgot, Zeri, Exotech, Vexotech, game in and game out. So with this method, I highly recommend it. Let me know if you've used it before, if you're giving it a try after this video, how it goes for you. If it helped click anything, these are just different strategies you can use while playing TFT to ensure you are going that uncontested line and making the most out of the specific game and the champs that it gives you. So again, let me know in the comments below if this worked for you. Otherwise, subscribe and like this video. It helps me a lot if you got this far. Set 15 is coming out at the end of the month, so stay tuned for a whole boatload of Set 15 videos up and coming. For now, we're just going to go over some late meta changes. Currently, the For Fun patch is coming in about 2 weeks, give or take, so we'll talk about that when it comes. But there are a few more videos I have coming out regarding the meta, like a full dive into the Cipher build, as that's currently extremely strong, but a lot of people are playing it wrong. So I'm going to go over that in a future video. So yeah, make sure you like and subscribe to stay tuned and up to date to get notified for those videos. Otherwise, enjoy the TFT grind, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take it easy. After watching this video, if you're considering going to the store to buy a brand new notebook, or you're considering looking for your old one in the bottom desk drawer to dust off and use, consider subscribing. It's free, it helps me, it helps you. I have upcoming meta builds and videos on the way. And as always, enjoy the grind.